Good evening, everybody, and welcome to our Year 1 Information Evening. So nice I can't quite believe it was just 12 months ago that you were starting reception and how that time has just flown by. It's so nice to see the reception children having just started and your Year 1's just bouncing in, which is lovely. They're settled already. It's almost as if they're used to their rooms, used to their teachers already, which is quite incredible after 3 days. As per all of the other events that we did last year, there is a chat function. If you could ask your questions as we go, if there's anything that comes, we won't answer them until the end. But if you put them in as you go, both Mr. King and I are here to field any questions, and obviously we have both your form teachers here. So if we can't answer it, then we can certainly find out for you. I'm going to hand over now to Miss Kilpin and Miss Convolt. I said it properly because Mr. King was in the room. And then we'll close. We would hope to finish it in about half an hour. So if there are any other questions that fall out of the end of that, we will always follow up with an email, or we can put it into this recorded function anyway. OK, I'm over to you now, Miss Kilpin.
Thank you. So for those of you that don't already know, my name is Miss Kilpin and I'm the form teacher of 1DK, and I work with the lovely Mrs. Burnett.
I am Mrs. Groenewald, or Mrs. G, and I am the form teacher for 1KG, and I work with lovely Miss Andrews.
And you can see the other teachers that will be teaching the specialist subjects on the screen. So the essence of Year 1, we really want to ensure a smooth transition from early years into Key Stage 1, and whilst doing that, really develop independent and self-confident young boys in all areas of school life. It's also so important that the boys have a secure phonic knowledge by the time they leave Year 1. Phonics is so important across all areas of the curriculum, and we really want to develop lifelong readers.
So the 3 R's and school rules. We have respect, responsibility, and resilience that we talk about on a daily basis. And we talk to the boys about examples of this that come up through the day and refer them to these 3 R's. So this would be great vocabulary for you to use at home and help reinforce the message that we are sending here.
So our topics that we will be learning about this year, this term we're learning about toys. Our topic is called A Toy Story. In the spring term, we will be looking at fantastic beasts and where to find them. And in the summer term, we will be learning about the deep blue. We will be sending out a show and tell sort of schedule. It would be really, really nice if your son could bring in a show and tell on their assigned day that linked to our topic for that term. And perhaps you could go through a few talking points at home before they present to the class, and it gives us an opportunity in class to further our knowledge of our topics.
So the curriculum this year. So we'll start with English. English obviously is not just the English lessons. This takes place across the curriculum and all the other topics. Writing, both with transcription and composition. This includes dictation sentences, creative writing, and things like that. With reading, this is not just decoding, but building their fluency, building the comprehension skills that will come with ordering the events of a story, talking about characters, how they're feeling, which it would be so helpful if you could talk to your boys about this at home when you're reading stories together. Our phonics follows the Read Writing program, and our handwriting follows the Letter Join program. We will be teaching cursive, and by the end of the year, we will be joining.
Okay, in maths, we follow the White Rose maths scheme. We really want the boys to have a really strong, rapid recall of number facts. And a secure knowledge of place value, and we use vocabulary tens and ones when we're talking about a number. So the number 12 is made up of 1, 10 and 2 ones. And we really want the boys to have a really secure knowledge of these number facts. If they do, they will then be able to reason and problem solve. It's really difficult to problem solve and reason without that secure fluency. So when you're working with your son at home, please do encourage daily reading and share books that are more challenging, so books that your son wouldn't necessarily be able to read independently, because this exposes them to what we call Tier 3 vocabulary. And this vocabulary doesn't necessarily come up always in conversation. Perhaps discuss the meaning of words, synonyms, but please definitely encourage daily reading. It can be just a short amount each day. And we will be sending out information on the letter join handwriting formation, so please do monitor that carefully. It's really easy to correct now, but much harder to correct later on. In science this year, our additional topics, we're going to be looking at materials, and we're doing that this term, and then plants, animals, including humans, and seasonal changes. Here are our curriculum overviews, which will be sent out shortly to you, but we really want to point you to this section of our curriculum overview. If you are ever stuck on a rainy day, or your child finishes their homework quite quickly, we've come up with lots of additional activities that you can do that would link with our topics. The curriculum overviews will also give you a guide of the objectives that we're working towards this year, so please do take a look at those.
Homework. We use an app called Seesaw. A QR code can be found in your son's reading record, and homework will be set on the Seesaw app. And this could include spellings, English, writing, maths, and it will be linked to what we're doing in class. Homework is set on a Tuesday and due on Monday. Please do supervise your son's homework. This will help with routines. This will help you know where your son is at with their progress, and just give you an indicator of how they're doing. If there are any concepts which your son finds too challenging, please do let us know. And if you're looking for additional homework, as Ms. Kilpin just mentioned, you can look at the curriculum overview.
We also have some additional apps that we use to support homework, and these again will be sent out on Seesaw. Seesaw, I'll just add, is an app very similar to Tapestry. Tapestry is more based on early years, so we moved to Seesaw. But these apps we will be using throughout the year. The logins can be found in your son's reading record. Numbot is a really great app for developing that fluency I was previously talking about. And the great thing about Numbot is that it adapts the questions that it will give your son based on how quickly they answer them. So if they're answering quite quickly, it might bypass some questions and move on. And if your son is answering slightly more slowly, it will recap to consolidate. Later on in the year, we do start teaching times tables, and another great app is the Times Table Rockstars. The boys really buy into this, and it really helps them with their rapid recall of multiplication and division. So please do refer to those. The logins are in your son's reading record.
Reading. Reading books are to be brought to school daily and can be changed when your son has finished reading them. Occasionally, your son may wish to reread a book they have already read. This is fantastic for building fluency, for progressing with their expression and intonation. Please continue to use Bug Club. You're probably familiar with this from last year. And also, as Ms. Kilpin mentioned, please do read with your son at home. Comprehension can be built into read-alouds. Your modeling is fantastic for them to hear how you pause at full stops, the expression you use. You can ask questions and really just build that for them. So that would be fantastic. And further to that, encourage reading for pleasure. Show your children that you read for pleasure and that it's a wonderful lifelong hobby. If your child decides to read a different book, please also record this in their reading record so that we are aware of what they are reading. And similarly, please do write any notes or comments when you listen to them read so that we know how they're getting on at home.
New this year, the boys are so excited about their swimming lessons, and yesterday's swimming lesson was a success. They will be swimming with Mr. Merton and Mr. Symington. Something that would really help when going swimming is if you could support your son with dressing independently and changing at home. And please ensure everything is labelled, as we probably will have some trunks or some goggles or something that end up in somebody else's bag, and it's much easier to give back to you if everything is labelled. And progress will be shared at the end of each term. I believe the boys get a certificate from Mr. Merton, so you'll find out how they're doing with their swimming.
Communication. Here are our email addresses. Please do feel free to message us whenever you need to during the day. If there are any urgent messages, please do contact the office, as we may not be able to pick up the emails as quick as we can after school. And here are the list of our parent reps.
Are there any questions? Thank you for listening.
There aren't any. I don't think at this point, Miss Kilpin, that there are any questions at all. Maybe they're bowled over by the information that you've given to them, or they're very shy, which would be quite unlike them, because
hopefully we've answered them as we went along, perhaps.
But their sons aren't shy. I don't think the parents are either. If there are any questions after the event has closed, please do feel free to email in, because sometimes the questions, I realise, are personal to your son and might be more relevant via email. So please do that. We're delighted with how well they've settled. I know it's only day 3, but actually they have been incredible. I went in to have a chat with Miss Kilpin and Miss G today, and they were saying, wow, they've settled brilliantly. They're doing really well. Let's not speak too soon, but they're very much dream team at the moment. So thank you so much to you for all your support with your boys. If you think about it, those boys had a really checkered start to school life, with being half online and half in school, and you know, they've done amazingly well to achieve as much as they have achieved in the time that they have been at school, and to transition so successfully. And that's thanks to you for preparing them adequately too. So thank you. There aren't any further questions, so
if anybody, so please do email in if you have questions, but equally come and see us at the gate. It would be lovely to get to know some of the parents' faces.
That has been a highlight, actually. Having parents at the gate has been so so nice, hasn't it? Okay, thank you so much for spending time with us tonight. I know there were quite a few that arrived late. This is a recorded event, so you will be able to access it, or feel free to email any one of us. Thank you very much for listening.